Give it up for your next storyteller. Give it up for Mel Case.
Hi, everybody. So happy to be here. So in 2020, I was recently separated, and I was really lonely, and I really wanted to meet someone, but it wasn't necessarily to fall back in love again, because it was too soon for that. But I really just wanted some new sex. And I actually was blessed by one night I went to sleep and I had this sexy dream about a celebrity. And it was awesome because the only other time I had dreamt about celebrities was when I dreamt about David Bowie. And he always played this like really kind father figure. He was like a loving guy who would like mentor me and help me grow in like fantastic ways. So this sexy dream was a nice surprise. So fast forward like 6 months, and I'm also a screenwriter, and I had a screenplay that I was shopping around with my agents and stuff like that, and we had landed with this production company that was maybe going to do the movie, but the producer was really excited, and she brought up some names of some people that could maybe play the starring role for the character in the movie, and the name of the person that she really wanted to work with was the person from my dream. So in my head, I sort of combined those two things, and I was like, oh, it's destiny. I am single. We are meant to be together. And so I had also heard that Nick Jonas and Priyanka Chopra had gotten together when Priyanka Chopra slid into his DMs on Instagram. And I had always thought that, I work in advertising, so like, there's like social media managers that manage these big accounts. And so I was like, there's no way that these celebrities are actually engaging with people on social media. So I wasn't sure, but I was like willing to give it a shot. So instead of going through the agents and the production company, I was like, I'm just gonna slip her a DM and see what she says. So the balls, okay? I have such balls. And what I did was I introduced myself. I'm very casual. I was like, hey, my name's Mel. I'm a screenwriter. I'm pretty sure you got my screenplay. Maybe you're interested. I'm not sure. But I'm a really big fan. I think you'd be great at this part. I think it'd be really fun to work together. I'd love to get to know you better. Send. And then I waited, and I waited, and I waited, and one day she wrote me back. And I was like, what the fuck? So suddenly I'm DMing with this, she's a lesbian celebrity, so she and I are DMing each other back and forth, and I'm like Googling pictures of her girlfriend. Her girlfriend kind of looks like me, but skinny, but she likes brunettes with big noses. I'm like, yep, that's me. So then I was like, and plus we have banter, right? We're both comedians. We're bouncing comedy back and forth, the jokes are happening. So this goes on for a while, and eventually I was like, I can't tell if this is romantic or just friendly, which is often a lesbian problem. You just never know, like, are we friends or are we gonna fuck? Like, is this gonna happen? So there was a little bit of a technicality, which was that she lived in New York and I lived in LA. So I started to think that maybe this could happen when one day she says to me, why don't you come visit? And I was like, are you kidding me? Fuck yes. So I fly to New York. I spend a week with her. I meet her dad. This was really interesting. Her dad was like this really neurotic, fastidious kind of guy. He'd be like, Mel, I notice you have a little bit of executive functioning problems. Why don't I help you fold your laundry? I'd be like, okay, sure, okay, let's do it. He'd be like, okay, let's go to the coffee shop. Why don't we buy these Guatemalan Antigua beans, and then you can use them with the carafe I'm gonna buy you for your pour-over, because I know you love that pour-over, and then when you go back to LA, you'll have something to remember us by. And I was like, oh my God, this man is amazing. He became like my best friend. So it was this kind of weird romance, it was like Notting Hill, the average bloke, that was me, who also had a child, and then the beautiful celebrity who was working all the time, but somehow it just works. It's magical like that. So things were going really well. The sex was amazing. We had very experimental sex. We were doing things. She was doing things she had never done before. I was doing things that I had never done before. We were doing things to each other that neither of us had ever done. It was like very exciting, the kind of sex that you hope to have, and especially after a separation when you just really want some new sex. So it was all really fun until things started to get a little weird. One day, she tells me, my dad really likes to watch. No. And I didn't know what to do, so I just let him. He was gay, so it didn't matter, right? We're all gay in the room. It's gay people having fun. Then one day, sorry, you guys threw me off with that reaction. That was so big. So then one day he asked if he can participate. And I was like, it's not in the way that you think. It's that he wanted to give us notes. He was that picky and fastidious that he started giving us notes on the sex. And then from there, it got really weird because then I started to feel like there was some weird demonic energy. I was like, I feel like there's demons in the room, and I feel like I'm getting fucked by demons. This is, I usually I'm a switch, so I like to combine whatever, but I felt like I was I'm bottoming a lot for these demons. They are topping me a lot. And so one day I decided, you know what? Something weird is going on. I think I need an exorcism. So then I book a flight to Austin, Texas. And then in Austin, Texas, I'm going to take a cab to San Antonio, which is where they have a place that does exorcism. So I get in this cab, and there's this lime green Prius. And I get into it. It's kind of a weird cab. I don't know why I'm in a cab and not an Uber, but there I am. And the guy starts to drive, and he's doing this while he drives. And I'm like, who does this to see better? You do this to see better. You don't do this to see better. What is this guy doing? And I was like, this is a sign. He's going to human traffic me. So I was convinced, I swear to you, I know it's funny, but it was so scary. I was I had palpitations. My heart was racing. I couldn't breathe. I was like, this guy's gonna human traffic me. So I tell him, you know what? Can you just pull over at the closest gas station? So he pulls over at the closest gas station. I get out of the cab. I go into the 7-Eleven convenience store, and I'm so panicked, I don't know what to do, so I do this, and I announce, I am an undercover police officer, and there is human trafficking happening in this 7-Eleven, and I am calling for backup. And I called 911, and the fucking police show up. So the police show up. It's a white guy with spiky blonde hair like Iceman in Top Gun, and he's got sleeve tattoos and that vest, with the fucking walkie right here, and he's doing this. And he's like, can you tell me what's going on, ma'am? And I'm just like, listen, there's this guy who's trying to human traffic me. It was really fucking scary. I don't know what's going on. And he's listening to me, but he's looking at me like he might fucking kill me. He looks like a white supremacist. So then I'm like, he's a white supremacist, and this is a sign, and this are signs, and there's a fucking ring of human trafficking happening in this town. So finally, a black cop comes. Big, tall guy, buff, very nice looking. And he looks at me and he says, Mel, are you sure you want to go down to the station? And I was like, what do you mean? Where else would I go? There's human trafficking. I don't know where I'm gonna be safe. And he goes, are you sure that you want to go down to the station? Because there are other options. And I couldn't, my brain wasn't working, I was just not able to figure out what he was saying. And then I went, Oh, like a hospital? Like, should I be going to a hospital? Oh, I need a hospital. And it hit me that something wasn't going right with my brain. So that became the journey, that began the journey for me getting treatment for what I have, which is bipolar 1. I was in a very prolonged psychotic episode. It lasted for about 4 to 5 months. I don't know how I managed to get through it without dying because I was so erratic in my behavior. I flew to New York in a pandemic thinking the celebrity would pick me up, and she never came. Lots of other things happened. This is the short version of the story, okay? And finally, I was... I'm laughing because it's hard to talk about, and I'm feeling awkward. But thanks. Thank you. Thank you. I did inpatient treatment for a period of time for about 3 months, and I'm now on lithium. I won't be like Kanye. I am well medicated. Will never be like Kanye. Because if you take your meds, it's actually totally something you can live with. I have a regular job. I make good money. I'm a mom to a beautiful 4.5-year-old. She's adorable. And I know I have that relationship again. So, but you guys, I have to say, I still feel a little bit lonely sometimes. And the reason now is because now I don't have all those voices in my head to keep me company. All right, thanks, guys. Have a good night.